Hi everyone! Welcome to our online hangout space. Hashtag chat up, real talk, real impact. I'm your host, Germaine Jalandoni de Ruña, and as usual, here on Chat Up, we bring you enriching conversations about current events and various advocacies. Join us in this online program brought to you by Quarantalk Media and supported by the United States Embassy in the Philippines. Here, we encourage you to chat up and not shut up. So keep your messages and questions coming. Also, invite your friends to listen in and join in our chat. Share this live stream and use our official hashtags, hashtag chat up and hashtag real talk, real impact. Let's now dive into tonight's discussion and find out what's up.
A United States education is your gateway
to a great American campus experience,
to study in a country of innovators and entrepreneurs,
to use your curiosity wisely,
to take on challenges,
to think differently,
to have endless opportunities,
to hear new perspectives,
to navigate cultural differences,
to pursue your passions,
to gain real-world experiences,
to learn skills for a changing job market,
to put theory into practice,
to become the kind of professional you want to be,
to thrive in your career,
to give back to your community and to the world,
to be the kind of person that you wouldn't have dreamed to be otherwise.
Come study.
Come study.
Come study.
Come study in the United States.
Right, it's International Education Week. That's from November 15 to 19. This week is a celebration of the benefits of international education and exchange worldwide. So tonight, we will talk about some programs and opportunities to learn and study abroad. We will talk about the benefits of international education, and we will also hear from guests about their experiences of studying in the United States. And of course, we will share with you some resources and support available for you if you want to study in the US. So without further ado, let's get started. Joining us are some of the representatives from Education USA, US Embassy in the Philippines, and alumni of some of the education and exchange programs of the Embassy. Let's call them in. Starting with Christine Grace Catindig, the Senior Education USA Advisor of the US Embassy in the Philippines. Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Hi. And next up, we have Education USA Alumni Ambassadors, URIEL GALACE and Jilliane Joyce de DUMO. Jill is also an IVLP alumni. Hi, URIEL and Jilliane. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, good evening to everyone.
And completing our lineup is Jonelle ACOBA, a Fulbright scholar. Hi, Jonelle.
Hi, good evening, Maine.
Good evening and welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for joining us this lovely Wednesday evening. And again, to our viewers, send us your questions and messages through our comment section. All right, let's start with our discussion for this evening. So I will ask each and every one of you a brief background on your experience studying abroad. So I would ask your U.S. Embassy program, the area of your study, and the year wherein you studied in the U.S. So I'll start with Jonelle. Let me start with Jonelle.
Hi, good evening again. I am Jonelle ACOBA, and I was under the Fulbright Foreign Student Program, batch 2020 and 2021. So medyo fresh pa, no? I just arrived back last August this year, and I took my Master of Public Administration with Certificate of Advanced Study in Data Analytics for Public Policy at the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs in Syracuse University in New York.
Hello, can you hear me? I think, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Jonelle. Next would be URIEL. Can you tell us about the program, your U.S. Embassy program, the area of study, and the year you went to the United States to study?
Yeah, so I consulted with Education USA when I was submitting my applications for graduate school. I did a Master of Global Affairs at the University of Notre Dame with a concentration in sustainable development. And I graduated last May, just this year, 2021.
Oh,
Very excited to be here.
Thanks so much for being here as well. And how about Jillian?
So I became a part of the International Visitors Leadership Program on U.S. judicial systems in 2018. And then I am also a U.S. Education Ambassador, as well as advisee. I took my Master of Law in National Security Law in Georgetown University and Certificate in International Human Rights Law. I graduated this May 2021, this year only.
Okay, so all of the three of you just graduated recently. All right, so okay, can you hear me, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I think I'm having a little bit of trouble with my internet now. Okay, I hope you can hear me clearly. Okay, so I would like to ask everyone, how did your education in the US help you with your career for this, the career that you chose? Let me start with Jillian.
I think for me, it gave me additional credentials because I shifted from the judiciary and now I am with the DFA. So going into that specific field of study gave me a lot more of insights and backgrounds that I could use in my work. Also, I think it helped me gain a network. It's, I think, important, especially for my job, to be able to connect with other people and share their experiences also here in the Philippines.
Network is a really like big thing that you would earn, no, right? When you go to the US and study there, and you know more a lot of know more people, right? And you'd eventually use that in your career here. How about Jonelle?
Yeah, because I just arrived back, for now I don't have anything long-term career impact to share with after obtaining my degree abroad. But having experience to have been immersed in a program that has been designed to include real-life cases, policy cases, interesting works of research that spans on different fields, I would say it has become instrumental in highlighting the skills or the skill set which I wanted to have, because these are the in-demand, trendy, and very useful tools that I need, especially for those people like me who works for the government and who has interest in the field of policy analysis and evaluation. And I'm pretty sure that this will help me in stepping up my career in the future.
Definitely. It will really help you, Jonelle. Uriel.
Mm-hmm. So I actually wanted to highlight three tangible benefits that I gained from my US education. The first is, as everybody already mentioned, it's like the conceptual skill set and toolkit that you get from doing this master's degree abroad. When you go into the classroom, obviously you learn a lot of things from the material, from the readings, but also like you gain hard skills. Like in my case, I gained a lot of quantitative skills. I gained data visualization skills. I even gained programming skills, which was something that I did not expect coming in. So I feel like the breadth and diversity of the programs on offer are really a strength of the curriculums you get abroad, especially in the United States. So that was the most tangible benefit I gained. The second is that it really opened up my horizons. Like in my program, I got to interact with people from all over the world, from all walks of life, all religions, all ethnicities. And that was just like an amazing experience in the sense that I got to go outside of my own comfort zone and to meet other people who have different perspectives than I do, or who have different ways of life. Like I remember there was one time that I attended like a Muslim religious ceremony, which was not something that I had done previously. I would have dinner with scholars from Ghana or Nigeria or Uganda. And, you know, that was just like an amazing experience that really served to open my horizons and like broaden my perspective of the world. And it just made me conscious of the fact that the world doesn't revolve around the Philippines and the Philippines doesn't revolve around the world. And it made me see things from like a broader perspective. And then the last thing I would say is definitely the networking aspect of it is really, really important. I was able to meet people from different organizations all over the world, international NGOs, international development organizations, public policy agencies, things like that. And being able to meet with representatives from those organizations was really helpful in the sense that in the future, when I want to go looking for jobs, I have different contacts in these places. And I feel like that really gives me a competitive edge.
Thanks for that answer, Uriel. So it's a holistic learning your technical skills, broadening your horizon, meeting new people, and the network that you will gain. All right. So I would like to ask each and every one of you, what were your best experiences when you were studying in the US? You can give us a snippet of or a highlight of the time you spent there and how it shaped you as a person that you are now. Let me start with Jillian.
When I did my time with IVLP in 2018, I went around different parts of the US because that was part of the experience. Checking various trial courts, family courts, and criminal courts. And that gave me a lot of insights on how courtrooms work. It's very different from how it is here in the Philippines, from setup to the culture as well as the systems that are in place. The most memorable, I think, would be seeing the bridge. The bridge where there's always a monster. No, I'm kidding. It's seeing the sights and everything else that you see in postcards and in the movies. Of course, that's part and parcel of what you do in the US, just to see the sights, to see the culture and the history. But on top of that, also, I got to see the experiences of other people relating to them. And I realized that a lot of them are very open minded. So even if you contradict them or give them a different opinion, nobody gets offended. It's all in the matter of a discourse, and a good amount of discussion goes a long way with everyone.
Thanks, Jillian. This is a really nice perspective on interacting with people. The people you interact with are very open-minded, and that's a really good a way to start discussions. No, okay. How about Janelle? What were your most memorable experience when you were studying in the US?
Yeah, I actually always tell people that while I enjoy the academic component of the Fulbright program, I actually enjoyed more the cultural exchange component of the program. I was actually in a 12-month MPA program, which I would say that it's pretty jam-packed in terms of coursework. But even though it tires me out, I would say I enjoyed it. I like how I was being mentored or taught or learned from professors who are really expert in their fields. I was also able to collaborate with my classmates, be it in a study group for a coursework, preparation for exams, capstone project, but not only or purely academic stuff, but I also experienced fun activities outside the classroom, like volunteering in the Central New York Food Bank, where I get a sense of community involvement and be able to spend my time productively. And just like Jillian said, I also traveled with and met my friends and relatives in New York City, Washington, D.C., Maryland, California, and I also have been to a couple of state parks. Well, actually, this is the most memorable part. This is pretty funny because at age 32, I also learned how to ride a bicycle with the help of my Fulbrighter friends who are from Morocco and Afghanistan. So, yeah, that's it.
That's so cute, Janelle. Thank you for that. It's like learning beyond the classroom, experiencing a lot of things beyond the classroom, outside the confines of the classroom. How about Uriel?
Yeah, I would also like to echo the amazing experience of learning things outside the classroom. So I actually have a number of highlights. A couple that spring to mind was I watched Hamilton, the Broadway show, which was an amazing experience, and I recommend it if everybody get the opportunity to watch that. It's just an amazing show. I also got to watch an NBA game in Chicago, which was also really fun. But I think the most memorable experience for me was when I experienced my first Thanksgiving. So one of the really cool aspects of education here in the US is the professors are very approachable and they tend to invite people into their houses for dinners and get-togethers.
Right.
So in my case, during our Thanksgiving, one of my professors invited our cohort to his house, which was just a lovely, beautiful, modern apartment in the city. And he brought our whole class and we feasted on Thanksgiving food, like turkey, cranberry juice, and all that stuff. And there was just this one moment where we were all gathered around the table, me and all of my classmates. And then one of my classmates just brought out a ukulele and started singing this song. It's called Riptide. And just
Yes.
everybody started jamming along to that song, and somebody was capturing it on camera, and it was just an amazing moment. And I just really, really love that.
That sounds really awesome, Uriel. So that's something that you would keep as a memory you keep as your experience there in the US when you were still studying there. Okay, so I have this question for Christine. We have very brilliant people with us tonight. I would like to ask, how competitive is the selection process for the study programs offered by the US government?
Yes, that's a great question. So again, happy International Education Week to everyone. It has been a long time since I've seen Uriel and Jill. So great to see you both. And Janelle, I'm really having a wonderful time listening to you. So I actually did my Global UGrad stint for college students. It's open right now. Global Undergraduate Exchange Program. And just hearing their stories, I'm reminded of all those fun times with Thanksgiving coming up. But yes, so the programs of the US government are competitive in the sense that you have to really be intentional with each aspect of the application, from the digital application to gathering the requirements to choosing recommenders who know you well, up to the interview if it entails an interview, because these US government programs are really available to a bigger group of people just because you will compete at a national level if the eligibility criteria allows for people from different regions of the Philippines to apply. So in that sense, yes, it's competitive. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the Fulbright program that Chanel got. So the Fulbright program is a prestigious program, and actually the program in the Philippines is the longest running in the world. So you can imagine how many brilliant Filipinos apply to Fulbright programs. With that said, don't be intimidated if you're thinking of applying, because you have a unique story to tell. And also, you have a lot of options. So, let's say, for example, Fulbright program isn't really something you're comfortable with, or you feel like that's not for me. I would like to still study in the States. I would like to apply directly and apply directly for financial aid. Then you can pursue the path that Jill and also Uriel took. So you can come to Education USA and come for free advising. And, with them, they were the main drivers of their application. We were just there to help out. So in Education USA, there's really no competition. It's more of a college application service. But yes, for other US government programs, definitely be intentional in your application and really ask yourself questions like, why do I want to do this? Who will benefit from this? What am I trying to get out of it? And do I have the capacity and commitment to leave my work for a while or my school for some time if it's an exchange program like what I did? So yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Christine. It's a new way. It's a very new way of looking at how to apply for a scholarship abroad. You have to be intentional and your commitment level in applying for a program abroad. I have another question for you, Christine. You mentioned about Fulbright, right, and Education USA, but can you also give us a rundown on the available programs that would allow Filipinos to experience studying in the US? And if you can give them an idea on the usual months when applications to these programs are open.
Yes, I would love to. So actually, there are programs in Fulbright Philippines that are open right now. So the one that I mentioned, the Global Undergraduate Exchange Program, that's open right now actually. So college students can go for that. The thing is with Fulbright, there are several programs under Fulbright Philippines. So the best thing to do really is to attend their events this International Education Week. You can just go to their Facebook page, Fulbright Philippines, or visit us at Education USA Philippines because we do share these events. And then they can know the different timelines because each program has a different timeline. So you really have to do the research. But research isn't so tiring these days because it's just online. So with a few clicks, you can easily know, oh, okay, this is the timeline. I'll work on these things. And for EdUSA, you can come to us at any time. But ideally, please keep in mind that August to December usually are the earliest times when our graduate advisees are able to submit their requirements, ask for their transcripts from their universities. But the intake can vary depending on the program that you're interested in. But usually, that's the timeline we're looking at. So yeah, just contact us directly and we'll guide you every step of the way.
Okay, thanks for that, Christine. This question is for everyone. What do you think aspiring scholars should do to better prepare for their applications? Let me start with Uriel.
I think the point about being intentional about your application is definitely a very strong point. I feel like a lot of people have this conception that if I'm a strong candidate on paper, then that means that automatically I'm going to be able to get into these programs. But the reality is that a large chunk of it is also how well you do in your application, like how well you market yourself. So you really have to put in the time and the effort into perfecting your CV, perfecting your essays, practicing for those interviews. And so like one way you can really do that is to get in touch with somebody like Christine who can help you prep. And so I really, really recommend just like devoting like a big chunk of time to really making sure that every aspect of your application is as strong as it can be.
Thanks for that, Uriel. How about Janelle?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Uriel. He succinctly summarized those strong points. But I would just like to highlight what Christine said earlier about the recommenders who will write your letters of recommendations. Choose those people who can really back up your application. And best among them are those people whom you have worked with in the past with meaningful projects, research, and all that. And for sure, this will amplify the credentials you wrote in your application.
Okay, thanks, Janelle. Jillian, any tips?
I think one of the important things that most people forget is what you're going to do after you have gotten that education already, especially for those who are applying for scholarships. I think the admissions committee would want to look where their investments would go as so far as your education is concerned. So you might want to articulate in either your statements or in your interviews what you plan to do when you go back to the Philippines. At the end of the day, what you're supposed to be learning in the US, you need to bring that back here for the benefit of your country and the Filipino people. So I suggest do not forget what you're going to do after.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Jillian. How about Christine? Any addition to the answers of our guest?
Yes, I think they hit the nail on the head. Those are absolutely the things I always talk about as an advisor. But from my end, just three quick things. First, really represent the Philippines. So this is international education. So your culture, your identity is of great value. And as a Filipino, you will have unique things that you can talk about depending on the region where you're from. So you are also exposed to different realities that maybe other students in a global classroom wouldn't necessarily know about. So definitely highlight that in the application as much as you can because that will make you unique. The second thing will be just to focus on the fit. I know that we watch a lot of movies, we watch a lot of Netflix series, and we really enjoy seeing universities there and the campus life. But at the end of the day, it's really about you and your personal preferences. So something that you feel like influencers are attending in a US school may not necessarily be for you. So please focus on the fit, and even with the rankings, use those judiciously because rankings are not holistic. So there's no one, let's say, law school, that would be a good fit for all students. So you would really have to follow Jill's steps and just really research and think about what do I want to do 5 years from now? What kind of track am I going for in legal education, for example? And my last tip would be think of the financial aid. So for us Filipinos, funding your studies for college, any type of degree, is a family endeavor. Like everyone's affected, right? So please consider looking for financial aid ahead of time. Like one of the amazing things that I saw with Uriel when he came to visit us at the embassy pre-pandemic before was that he was just really honest about it. And he came to me and said, these are the schools I researched. I liked all of them. I like all the programs. If there are any universities that don't have financial aid and I missed it, let me know because I would really like to apply to a school that offers financial aid and support to students. And lo and behold, Uriel is one of our advisees that was able to really secure a financial aid award. So you do that while you're working on your college applications. After you're accepted, you leave very little time for you to get financial aid. So please keep those things in mind.
Thanks so much, Christine. This question is for Jillian. What does it take to be part of the International Visiting Leaders Program or IVLP? And can you share us your experiences as an IVLP alumni?
Okay, so I think Christine or Helen might correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe IVLP is a nominations type of program. So that somehow you have to establish a form of expertise, or you have had a lot of work already in that specific area of study that the IVLP will be focusing on. So in my case, I got nominated when I was already 5 years into my career in the judiciary, and I've had already substantial experiences. I think that would be considered like a mid-career professional. And the point really in joining the IVLP is that you get to share also what you did in the Philippines with other members of the program. In my case, I think we had 12 senior level professionals all working in various fields of their judicial systems, and I was the only Filipino there, and all of us got to have a common ground when so far as the judicial system is concerned. So I think that's important. If you want to join the IVLP, make sure that you have had built a strong career, or you have a good way forward in so far as the topic is concerned.
Thanks so much, Jillian. Correction, everyone, it's International Visitor Leaders Program, not visiting. It's International Visitor. Apologies for that. Thanks so much again, Jillian, for the answer. For Janelle, for those who want to wish or to get their master's degrees in the US through the Fulbright Scholarship, what tip can you give them, be it during preparations or interviews?
Yeah, that's a good question, because the Fulbright scholarship or the Fulbright application process is a bit tedious in terms of filling out the forms and preparing for the essay. So the first thing I wanted to share is that aspiring applicants should religiously fill out the forms and diligently prepare well for the essays, because those will be worth their value when the selection panel will look into their application. So it's a no-no to ask somebody to prepare the forms or make an essay for the applicant. So include all relevant credentials. And also one more tip is that applicants, just like what Jill said earlier, should have a clear view of what they wanted to do, their study goals, and how do they intend to use that foreign degree in the future. And during the interview, of course, you come prepared. And what I can say is summarize in the phrase, deliver the best version of yourself.
Thanks for that, Janelle. To everyone who's listening, deliver the best version of yourself if you want to apply for the Fulbright Scholarship Program. Thanks so much, Janelle. Uriel, how's your experience, your MA experience while in the middle of the pandemic?
Yeah.
It's a very good, interesting question.
I mean, it definitely was not how I had envisioned my master's program coming in. So like the rest of the world, when the pandemic hit the US, like things really shut down. We transitioned to doing online classes. And honestly, like that, like initially was like a really painful aspect of doing it in the pandemic, because like, you know, I came to the US to have like this amazing experience. And here I am sitting in my apartment dorm room, like staring at a computer screen all day. That was like definitely like not fun, like initially. But what ended up happening in our case was that after a few months, our school decided to transition to doing a mix of Zoom classes and in-person learning. So some of us actually had the option to go to the classrooms and go do classes with a mask on. And so we would, I chose to go that route. So I was able to go to a classroom that was like socially distanced. And then people were seated like 3 seats apart. We were all wearing masks. So it was relatively safe. I was able to get like an in-person experience. And for me, like that was really transformative, because honestly, like it's just much easier to focus in class when like you're actually right there in the classroom, as opposed to when you're just doing it via Zoom. Exactly. And one really like advantageous aspect of being in the US during that time was that, you know, when the vaccines came out, we had first access. Like I was able to get like my shot of Pfizer like within a week or so of like it's being made publicly available in the US. So that allowed us to transition back into having a relatively normal class schedule very quickly. And so now things are pretty much back to normal.
Thanks for that, Uriel. Christine, this year is the 75th anniversary of the Fulbright program. What are we expecting?
Yeah, so Fulbright actually has a couple of events lined up this International Education Week. You'd have to stay tuned to their page to see if there's something big that they're planning for their anniversary this year. But yes, you know, Fulbright Philippines, our colleagues there, they have paid such great effort and time into making sure that what were once available in person are now accessible virtually. So please check out their pages in Fulbright Philippines, and also their alumni are very active. Exhibit A, Janelle. So you can really hear from their experiences a lot of times, and even just on social media, I think, especially for, and this is just a best practice, a bonus best practice for those of you who are interested in PhD, doctorate programs in the States. You know, you can interact with faculty and alumni in social media and see, you know, what they're up to. Do they co-publish with their faculty? Are they able to attend departmentals, seminars, and all these things? So please take advantage of what's available online.
Thanks so much, Christine. As a last question to our guests for tonight, I would like to ask you, what would you say is the best thing about studying overseas and having an international education? Let me start with Jillian.
I think really it's learning. I took my LLM also during the pandemic, and unfortunately, I didn't have that in person experience. So I was doing it here in the Philippines. But what I realized is that I think there's not much difference in terms of the attention given by the professors as well as the reading materials, etc. I think they were all the same and very competitive, in fact. And all the schools came in very prepared. So if you're going to look for a higher degree or a further studies, do consider US universities because not only are they prepared, they also offer a lot of the intellectual discourse that you might be looking for, including other opportunities such as on the job trainings, assistance to finding other paths or careers opportunities in the US. And they even had a lot of socials done through Zoom. So all of these they consider. I think it's a very holistic experience, both in your social, cultural, and academic endeavors.
Thanks, Jillian. It's a holistic experience. Thanks. How about Christine?
Yes, so I think my message and also advice for those who are interested in US international education, you know, one of the most rewarding things about it is really the people that you're going to meet, the connections that you're going to make, and they're the ones who are ultimately going to be your partners in making a difference in the Philippines and where you
Right.
are currently. So I hope that you take advantage of the free resources of the embassy as well as the excellent US government programs. Having come out of a program myself, I can definitely say it's life changing. And so it's really what you make of it. There's much freedom given to the scholars of these programs. And in our end in Education USA, we're just here to support anyone who's interested in an academic career in the States, and US universities continue to welcome and value international students. So I experience US education.
Thanks so much, Christine. How about Uriel?
I wholeheartedly agree with Christine. It's definitely like the people. So when I got to study in the US, I was able to make friends, not just with Americans, but really with like people from all over the world. Now I have friends from Latin America, I have friends from Africa, I have friends from the Middle East. Like last month, I even attended like a friend's wedding in Cairo, Egypt, which was amazing because like I got to ride a camel and I got to see like the pyramids. So it's really just like the networking aspect and like the socialization aspect. It's just really amazing.
Thanks, Uriel. And lastly, Janelle.
Yeah, thanks. Those stories makes me miss my friends in Syracuse, actually. And I would say that to be able to acquire broader understanding of the global community is the most significant among the various benefits of obtaining a degree abroad. And I would say that engaging in meaningful conversations and other activities with people of diverse background around the world allows you to see things differently, such as social issues, the way they tackle things in their countries. You can benchmark with how they do this. They do this in different countries, and it's really a lot to learn from these people. So don't miss these opportunities. Try and experience it yourself.
Thanks, Janelle. Thank you so much to our guests for sharing your wisdom and experiences rather with us today. We do appreciate your time. Once again, thank you to Janelle ACOBA, Uriel Galace, Jill de DUMO, and Christine Grace Catindig. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us this evening. Okay. Like we said in our previous episode, don't be afraid to start and take the first step. So this could be the first step for you to a U.S. education. All right, so now let's get to know some allies in promoting accessible education in the Philippines. That's here on The Spotlight. On our spotlight this week is Educacion.ph. Educacion.ph is a startup in the Philippines that provides young people an online platform to explore their options in their studies and empower them to make decisions for a fulfilling career. Their website, Educacion.ph, features courses, schools, scholarships, and other resources and opportunities that students may take advantage of. You may visit www.educacion.ph to explore courses, schools, and opportunities. Again, that's www.educacion.ph. Now, let's see what else we can do for hashtag Real Impact. Let's find out what's next. Coming up are some opportunities that you may grab. We invite you to join Education USA virtual advising sessions. For graduate studies, it's happening on November 19th, Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. And for undergraduate studies, join the session on November 22nd, Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. Education USA is here to inform, guide, and advise Filipinos interested and qualified to study in the US to their best fit educational destination. To register, you may visit www.educationusa.org/advising-group. Again, that's www.educationusaph.org/advising-group. And you may also email manila@educationusa.org or cebu@educationusa.org and follow Education USA on Facebook and Instagram. It's at educationusa.philippines. All right. Also, for International Students Day, we have a special episode on the main agenda here on Quarantalk Media. Tune in tonight at 9 p.m. here on Quarantalk Media on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube channel, and we'll continue our conversation there. And as we go, we are leaving you with a video from Education USA.
If you are one of the Filipinos na gaya ko na gustong mag-aral sa US, ito ang 5 steps na dapat mong pagdaanan. Step 1. Research your options. Alamin kung saan mo gustong tumira sa US, ang course na gusto mong pag-aralan, at ang mga universities and colleges na pwede mong pasukan. Narrow down your options as much as possible and do your research 12 to 18 months prior to the academic year. Step 2. Finance your studies. It is a must to know kung paano mo susuportahan financially ang studies mo sa US. Step 3. Complete your application. Hindi pare-pareho ang application process sa schools. Kaya make sure to do your research. Universities and colleges may require recommendations, essays, at iba't ibang standard examinations. Step 4. Apply for your student visa. Kapag okay na ang admission mo sa university, the university will give you an I-24. Nakakailanganin mo para magbayad ng SEVIS fee. Ang required na visa processing fee ay $160. Hindi ka makakapag-apply ng visa kapag wala ka pang admission, I-20 at bayad na SEVIS. Step 5. Prepare for your departure. Siguraduhin kumpleto lahat ng travel documents at plansyado ng lahat ang travel arrangements mo. You can also talk to our Education USA advisors and attend a free pre-departure orientation at Education USA. For more details and information about the 5 steps to study, bisitahin ang Education USA Philippines Facebook page. Happy studying! Kita-kits sa States!
Study together, and we learn together, we work together, and we prosper together.
And that's it, chatmates. Thank you for joining us today. And if you found our chat helpful, then share our live stream so more people can watch our chat. Use our hashtags, #ChatUp and #RealTalkRealImpact. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Quarantalk Media, and follow us on Facebook for more updates and exciting programs. That's at Quarantalk Media. And we're also on Twitter. It's at Quarantalk Media. I am Germaine de Ruña, and connect with me online through my social media channels. For Twitter, it's at Germaine J. de Runa. For Instagram, it's at Germaine Jalandoni de Runa. And Facebook, it's at Germaine Jalandoni de Runa. And join me again next month for another Real Talk, Real Impact here on #ChatUp, Real Talk, Real Impact. Good night, everyone.